Okay, so we're going to move forward to review or learn some few interesting words, okay? Maybe words you can use when you negotiate in English, some useful words, okay? So we have first very essential, structural, like in the building, when you put the basement, the first parts of a building, that's the structure to hold the building. So these are like very important words for any negotiation. So when you have a negotiation, okay, first you start with a proposal. And then a proposal is your first idea, okay? So what do you want from that negotiation? You are proposing something you want to accomplish. If with another company, maybe it's a business deal, but in your office with your team, maybe it's something you want from your employees, from your boss, maybe something you want from your colleagues, your workmates, okay? So remember that proposal. Then counter offer. Counter means the opposite. So, or the complement. So first you have to make an offer. Like if you're selling a product. So first you say, okay, so I have these beautiful books. These books have are worth maybe 1,000 bahts. But then you think, maybe that's too much. Your counter offer is, I think I can pay 800 bahts. So a counter offer, you try to gain some advantage for you, but keep the other part also interested. Then terms and conditions. Terms and conditions are basically the rules. For everything in life, we need rules, right? So if you go out to drive your car or your motorcycle, you will see red lights, you will see signs on the street. You need rules so we can all know how to move around the streets, right? For a business deal, for working with other people, we also need these rules. These rules are basically terms, the conditions, what to do in your job, what to do in your office, or how to negotiate with another company. Okay. Then we have mutual benefit. Mutual means both, not only one, but both parts benefit. So that's a key part of negotiation. Sometimes we just want to win. Maybe that's why there is conflict because we feel good, but the other part feels losing, feels bad. So when we don't want both parts to gain, then maybe the other part will not want to negotiate or agree with us. So, very important, mutual, both benefit. Okay. So, last one is compromise. And compromise is something you do in your job, but maybe also with your friends, with your family every day, right? So sometimes you want something that other people want something else. So imagine you want to go out have dinner with your family and you want to eat chicken, but your family they want to eat pizza. So then you need to find a middle solution, meet in the middle, right? So maybe we can eat in a place where they have both chicken and pizza. Or we can meet in a place, no chicken, no pizza, but pasta. So it's different for everybody. So try to find a middle solution, okay? So Those are very important ideas for negotiation. Compromise. Normally, nobody can always win every single aspect of a negotiation. That is why negotiation is a little bit mutual benefit. People have different needs. So if we don't offer the other part some benefits, probably negotiations will be failures. They will be unsuccessful. Okay, very good. Let's move on now. Process language. Okay, how to do it. So maybe these are some tricks, let's say strategies, tricks you can use when you negotiate. Okay. So first one is leverage. Leverage. Leverage is similar to balance something, okay, or to move. That comes from the word leaves. So these leverages are like balancing something. So leverage is how much power you have in order to advance your negotiation. The leverage you have is maybe I have a company that is the leader in the market. So we know we can offer very good deals. So this already is our leverage. We have very good influence on our customers. So you can use your leverage to make better deals, but also maybe your position in the company. Maybe you work with a team, and within the team, everybody knows you are very good at speaking. So maybe you can use that as leverage. And when you have to go to meetings, you can ask your boss, I want to do this presentation that gives you maybe good points. So that's your leverage. What's something good about you or the company that you can use? So remember that, use your leverage positively to make the company or your team better. Then we have a deadline, and deadline is probably we all experience that. The limit, that's the final time, final moment to deliver. It can be a piece of work, maybe a contract. So we all need to work with deadlines because time is limited. So keep that in mind, deadline. A trade-off. Trade-off is, I think, a part of life. Basically, there is nothing that is absolutely good or absolutely bad. There are always trade-offs, okay? So imagine if you want to have very good diet and then they tell you you need to drink more water. You can drink water, that's good. But if you drink too much water, that's also probably not good. So a trade-off is something you have to exchange. So I want to have a good diet. I'm going to drink a little bit of water, but not too much. Okay. Or maybe you want to eat less of some food, but you need to eat more of another food. So you have to exchange things. In life, you always need to exchange something that has a benefit but maybe can have also bad outcomes. So in business is the same. You can gain some things, but also lose at the same time. So need to use trade-offs in order to negotiate properly. Now, priorities. We all know that many things to do at the office or with our businesses, but you need to start by the most important, then the next, then the next, then the next. So when you need to negotiate with other people, try to begin with setting up your priorities. What is the most important thing? Maybe for the day, but maybe also for the contract or everything you have to do with the other company. And constraints. Constraint is like limitation. Okay, something you cannot do. So again, remember there are rules for life, like when you're driving, you cannot just cross the red light. Otherwise, then the police will stop you. So there are constraints. You cannot just do anything. There are rules. So for any negotiation, you need to keep in mind also there are limitations. What you can do, what you should not do. Okay, let's move forward to now for your communication with people, okay? Relational language, when you need to communicate with other people, with other companies. So there we have alignment. And alignment is that we are all in the same line, if you want. We are moving in the same direction. So if everybody is going different ways, then we all get lost. Very difficult to negotiate. So alignment is about we all try to see one path, one road, one way. We try to go together. We are aligned. So share goals, share directions. Flexibility is like a paper, right? Paper is flexible. So in life, everything requires flexibility. Sometimes, if you need to change times or if you need to change conditions, you need to be able to be flexible. That makes negotiation easier. Concerns is what we're worried about. And we always have our worries or issues like, is this the best price? Is this the best deal? Or is this the best way to talk to my boss, to my employees? So we have worries, issues about that. So think about your concerns before you go to negotiate. Then clarification, clear. Like I told you at the start, negotiation is about communication and clarity. If you say things properly, people understand. When you don't express your ideas honestly, clearly, is much more difficult to communicate, therefore, much more difficult to negotiate. Okay? And then long-term relationships. So sometimes we try to do things very quickly for today, feel good about that today, but then we don't think that we are going to be working with the same people, with the same colleagues, or maybe with the same companies for a long time. So if you think long term, long time, a relationship for a long time, then you become more mindful, careful. Maybe something you want to say today, you think twice, maybe I feel good if I say that now, but this is not good for a long-term relationship. So sometimes also negotiation and good relationship is about being mindful. We're going to be a long time together. Okay, so then let's move now to some phrases. Maybe some few phrases you can use. The simple phrases, you can adapt them when you need to write an email or maybe start a meeting or a small like conversation with any of your work uh, colleagues or your boss, your employees. Okay, so opening a negotiation, basically you start exploring. So first steps. So we would like to explore a possible collaboration. Imagine one team in a company with another team. Maybe they can start collaborating for a project, or one company with another company. Okay, we want to work together, create a product or a service. So another way to say what are your goals is our goal today is to find a solution. Okay, find a solution that work for both sides. So try to use as much as you can positive, respectful, kind vocabulary, but also very clear language. Okay, words that are not confusing. What do you mean with that? Okay, if you use very clear words, it's easier to negotiate. Now, this is for opening, but then when you present your first proposal, so we can say something like, based on our discussion, conversation, of phone calls, emails, I think we propose the following. Or maybe this offer reflects our priorities current, but we can talk a little more if you have other ideas. So to remember this for opening a negotiation or presenting a proposal. And then when answering, responding, between countries, different countries of the world, when they talk, they use something called diplomacy. Diplomacy as one member of one country goes to another country, so they need to be very respectful, mindful of the other country's feelings, ideas. So that's what diplomatically means, diplomacy. So very respectful, clear. So responding, answering in that way, it's I see your point, and I'd like to add another perspective. So maybe I have another idea, but I understand your idea. So another important key point for our webinar, I would say, is validation. Validation. Validation is to offer the other person a feeling that they are part of the conversation, that we listen to them, that they are really important in the conversation, not just there to listen and follow our instructions. They can also give their points of view. So maybe add perspectives, ideas, points of views. Okay. So maybe you can also say that may be challenging for us at this stage. So at this point it's difficult, but we can keep talking. Like I tell you, depending on your language, you can make a situation that feels very difficult, that you feel is conflictive, into a more open space for conversation. And then finally, for closing or pausing, when you need to finish either a conversation or maybe also uh, with another company a deal, let's take some time to review. Okay, take your time, review, don't rush. Maybe you can indicate we're moving in the right direction, we're doing the right thing, so let's go slow. So I hope you can keep all these phrases and words for your everyday use. Try to practice them when you really are faced with everyday situations that require you to negotiate something. You can use them when you need to talk to your customers, clients in English. So I hope they are useful for you. Okay, very good. So we're going to move forward now. So we're going to talk a little bit about uh, what is harder for you when you negotiate, okay? So again, please, you can answer in the chat. Just very, very short answers, very concrete answers. So what is harder for you? Speaking clearly or listening carefully? So please let us know what you think is harder for you in the chat. Just one answer, speaking or listening, speaking clearly, listening carefully. Okay. So I'll give you a few seconds. Please send us your answers. What is harder for you? Let's see. Okay, here we're receiving some. Okay, just few more seconds. Okay, so I think most people are saying listening carefully. Uh, and even listening carefully to legal implications. So very important point because you are in a corporate environment. Negotiations mean also legal terms, legal conditions. So it's very important to know really what the other part means. Okay, a few answers speaking, but I think mostly you think listening. That's what I thought it would be interesting to give this webinar the title of Active Listening, Deep Empathy, right? Because we usually feel that we don't listen carefully. So that's very important in negotiation. Okay, let's move here. One second. Okay, so then empathy in negotiation, right? Empathy in negotiation. What is empathy? Empathy is to understand other people's feelings, how they feel, right? But empathy is not the same as agreeing. Agreeing, like to agree, like when you tell me, oh, I think this is the best, and I just, okay, yes. And you don't think about it, you just agree, avoid conflict, avoid discussions. Okay, yes, yes, you're right. So empathy, understand feelings, but it doesn't mean you don't have your own ideas. You have your ideas, you have your feelings, but you can understand other people's feelings. So imagine a case of empathy. I can say I have a good friend, and my friend, she likes Taylor Swift, the singer, Taylor Swift. But I don't like Taylor Swift. So my friend says, oh, I think Taylor Swift is the best singer in the world. So if I just want to agree, I can say, oh, yes, you're right. But probably that's not how I feel. That's not my idea, right? But I want to be empathetic. I want to have empathy to my friend. So maybe something I can say, I can see why you feel Taylor Swift is the best. She is very successful, she is very talented. Anyway, I have a different opinion, but I can see why it is for you the best singer. So then, in that way, you can use your empathy, but you don't have to agree just to make other people feel good. You can respect their point of view, but you can have your own points of view. So, how do you do that? Best way, use polite language. Okay? Polite language. I understand. I respect your point of view. I can understand why you feel that way. It makes sense that you feel that way, but maybe I feel differently. Okay? You can keep the talk open. So in negotiation, it could be the same when you talk with your boss, your employees, maybe, okay, I can understand why you feel this way, but keep in mind this or think about that will always help. Okay. So remember, empathy is a key word for negotiation. Empathy. So we're going to try to do another quick activity. So in the chat again. Okay. we have some scenarios, some situations, okay? We have three situations, three scenarios, okay? So you can type A, B, or C in the chat. A, B, or C. I'm going to read the scenario for you. Okay, first read it. And then I give you some few moments so you can answer, give us your answer, your idea. Okay. So, scenario number one, situation number one. The price is too high. Okay, you're trying to sell something. The other part, the other person says, "Oh, the price is too high." So what do you say? A, your response, your reply. A, that's the final price. B, I understand your concern. Let's explore options. Or C, everyone pays this. So anyway, everyone pays this. Okay, so let us know. What do you think? What would be your answer, A, B, or C? I'll wait for your replies. Okay, we're having here some interesting answers. Okay, very good. Very good. Oh, very interesting. I think most people are answering A, but here we have a very interesting comment from Patita. A, but we will use A for the first time of negotiation, and then maybe we use B to compromise. Okay, very interesting idea. So first you probably say that's the final price, and then you try a little bit of compromising. Okay, well, thank you for your answers. Uh, and let's move on to scenario number two. Number two, we need this finished today. Okay, we need this finished today. Maybe that happens to you. Maybe some kind of task or job, or maybe a contract. We need this finished today. Oh, but I'm already overloaded. Overloaded, a lot of work, too many things, too many activities or tasks. So, hey, what do you respond? Maybe you're the boss, maybe you're a work colleague. You have to say to them, what? That's your responsibility? B, I understand your concern. Let's see what we can adjust. Or C, just try harder. Okay? So give you a few seconds. Tell us what you think, A, B, or C. We have some answers here, so send us your answer, A, B, or C. Okay, very good. I think most of you, I think, agree on B. Some of you think C. Perhaps just try harder. Okay. Okay, very good. Thank you. So let's move on. Okay. Some few more answers. Okay, so then let's go to scenario number three. Hmm, I don't think your proposal, remember, proposal, your first idea, I don't think your proposal is realistic. Realistic. You can really do it. It's easy to do. Okay, so I don't think your proposal is realistic. So what do you say? A, that you're wrong. B, I see your point. Can you tell me more? Or C, that's not fair. So what do you think for scenario number three? Send us your answers. I'll wait some few seconds. So tell us what you think. Okay. See. Okay. Let's see. I think again, most people think B. Some few answers C. That's not fair. Okay. Okay, very good. So thank you for all your answers. Thank you for your participation. So now it seems most of you in every scenario think B might be a good answer. So let's do a quick follow up. Okay, like continue the activity for a moment. So why do you think B is a good answer? You can tell us, but saying what language. So maybe you can write one, two, three words. What words you think are good, useful for negotiation in the answer B? Why you think B might be a good way to follow the conversation with your colleague or with your boss, with your employee? So write on the chat what words from those answers you think are useful for negotiation. I'll wait for your answers. Okay. You can write it there. Two, three words is okay. What is useful language for negotiation? Okay. Let me see. I'll read to you some of the answers. Oh, that's very interesting. Well, you're saying that answers in B answers, they usually show more understanding of others. Okay, yes, very good. It shows empathy. Very good. Okay, let's see. Open to hear from the other. Yes, very good. Empathy, understanding. Okay, very good. Sounds more compromise and keep a good relationship. Oh, very good. Yeah. So again, what we talk in vocabulary, so you need sometimes to compromise, right? Like you cannot always get everything on your own way. Good negotiation requires compromising. So sometimes compromising keeps a better relationship. Very good. Open to hear from others and open a discussion. Very good. Not just this is the only way we move from this, but okay, there is other points of view. Talk to me about it. Good listening. Okay, very good. So thank you for your answers. I think we get the idea that negotiation requires listening, opening to new ideas, compromise, okay? Feel how the other person is at that moment thinking or their needs. So if you practice that, perhaps your negotiation becomes easier, less conflictive, more productive, more fruitful. Okay, very good. So let's keep moving forward. Okay, so now we're going to talk about something very useful and important, and it is about culture. Okay, so we all have our cultures, right? So we're in Thailand, so Thai people have their own culture. But even within Thailand, many people in Thailand have different cultures, right? So perhaps people in the north of Thailand, like Chiang Mai, Chiang Rai, probably have different practices, ideas, feelings, food, music they like. The people maybe in the center, Bangkok or Chonburi area, or maybe in the south of Thailand, perhaps in Phuket or Krabi or those places, right? But even more if it's Thailand, then compared to Japan or Europe or other countries, right? So because of that, we have different ideas how to communicate, right? How to say things. And because they are different, sometimes if we don't understand the point of view of our friend or colleague, workmate, the other company, then we have more friction, more problem. So if you understand a little bit more about their ways, their culture, maybe it's easier to talk to them, to make business with them. Okay. So we have different styles, right? So different ways of talking to people. Some people like to speak very directly, say things, okay, you look great today, or you look terrible today. That probably very direct, right? But in some cultures, people feel it's better to speak more indirectly. Like instead of saying, oh, you look terrible today, maybe you can say, it seems to me you look tired. Did you sleep well? Are you feeling good? Are you feeling well? Maybe it's another way of asking without being so direct. Okay. So sometimes it's good to know and ask yourself, how is my culture? How is the other culture different? Okay. So that helps you to avoid conflict or maybe sound impolite, rude. Okay, so if you sound a little impolite, a little rude, it's more difficult to make business or it's more difficult creating relationships. Okay, so being aware, thinking about that helps you to have better communication, therefore better negotiation skills. Okay, so uh, just remember that differences don't mean good or bad. It's just different. There is no better style. There are different styles, but you need to understand the other person's style so you can work better with them. Okay. So let's move forward. Okay, so we're gonna do a small practice here. Compare. Okay, a style comparison. Say what you think about this. Okay, so answers in the chat. In the chat. Okay, you can tell more Western. So more Western normally is how Americans, Canadians, Europeans, right? How they do business. More Southeast Asian. We are in Thailand, right? So this is Southeast Asia. So perhaps Thailand, Vietnam, Myanmar, Cambodia, Laos, even Philippines, they have similar styles, similar culture, sometimes different aspects of the culture, but many similarities. So is it more Southeast Asian, more Western, or both? So you can write what you think. So we're gonna go one statement at a time, one by one. Okay. So first statement, first idea. People usually say no directly. Like, can we finish this contract today? No, that's it. Or can we finish today? Perhaps we could try, but if there is more need for conversation, we can think other ways. So, what do you think? People usually say no directly, more Western, more Southeast Asian, or both? So, send us on the chat. I'll read your answers. Okay, very good. You can keep sending. I'm seeing your answers here. Okay. Okay, very interesting. So I think most of you think more Western. So usually in Western cultures, people say no directly, right? So in Southeast Asian cultures, perhaps, maybe even in East Asian cultures like China, Korea, Japan, people don't say no, they say other words like "Eh, do you want this prize, this final prize? No, better say like, it's idea, but we can discuss a little more. Perhaps we cannot do better than that, but if you have any other suggestions, okay. Mm, but depends on I think we have also one interesting answer. I think old age generations mostly say no for Southeast Asian style, but probably most new generation ages say yes for the Western style. Okay, so we have an interesting idea, perhaps also sometimes about generations. Maybe old generations were more the culture of mm, say politely no with other words, but maybe new generations now are now taking more of Western culture ideas, say yes or no more directly. Well, anyway, thank you for all your answers. Very interesting points of view. So let's move to statement two. Statement two. Okay. Maintaining harmony is very important. Harmony, everything is well, is good, feels good and happy and nice. Harmony. So, what do you think? More Western, Southeast Asian, or both? Send this here in the chat. Okay, wait for your answers. Maintaining harmony is very important. Western, Southeast Asian, or perhaps both. What do you think? Okay, let's see. Okay, we're having very interesting answers too. So Kanitsi says Chinese yes sometimes means no. Oh, that's very good. So that's also very important in negotiation. It's not just about the words, but it's about the meaning of those words, right? Sometimes we can say a word, but the meaning is different. So important thing for negotiation is also understand the real meaning, right? That's actually very important for language. Sometimes people think language is just words, but actually, language is just feelings, emotions, context. Like I can say, "Oh, I'm happy today," and then perhaps I'm not happy, right? So, yeah, everything you say is not just the words, is the meaning of those words. So thank you for that. That's interesting idea. Uh, he says like Chinese, yes, sometimes means no. Actually, in Korea, maybe you are familiarized with Korean culture. I think in Thailand they like K-pop, many K-pop culture. So in Korea, there is no word actually for yes. There is a word just for agree. So you can say agree to say no. So when they ask you something, you're not answering yes or no, you're answering, I agree with you that you are right or you're wrong. So sometimes when you answer what seems to be yes actually means no. So that's an interesting idea. So most people say, I think, Southeast Asian. They think maintaining harmony is Southeast Asian. I think also Kanisit says Indian is a little difficult from my point of view. So perhaps dealing with Indian culture, it's a little difficult. I can understand. That's why it's important to be sensitive to other cultures, right? Because when you deal with other cultures, their expectations are different. So India is a very big country, many people, 1.4 billion people. So they are used to maybe get very strong negotiations, difficult language. I was traveling in India for many months, and I realized sometimes just negotiating with Indian people, even like for a hotel or for a meal, can be difficult. So I understand your idea. I think most people think Southeast Asians, they think harmony is very important. Okay, very good. So thank you for sharing. Let's go to statement number three. Number three, feedback. Feedback is given clearly and directly. Okay. So, like when you talk to your boss, will your boss tell you, "Hey, I think you need to be uh more clear in your emails. I don't understand what you're saying." Or maybe use different words. I think your emails sometimes feel a little confusing. Perhaps you can ask your colleagues how they write emails. So how is feedback? Clear and direct or not? What do you think? More Western, Southeast Asian, or both? Okay, receiving. Write it on your on the chat, please. Okay, very good. I see most of you think more Western, right? More Western. So the idea perhaps is that more Western cultures, like very clear, very direct. Perhaps also the same idea of people usually say no directly. Okay, that you think also in Southeast Asia it's not like that. So there is the idea of trying to be very careful with your words. So, okay, I think most of you think most Western, very good. So let's go to statement number four. Four. Okay. Silence can mean disagreement. Silence, disagreement. Okay. So if you stay silent, that means I don't agree with you. What do you think? More Western, Southeast Asian, or both? Okay, we have here again. Okay, I have here one more from Chanika. That was very interesting. I see it now that Southeast Asian people normally are not sharing their feedback. Oh, unfortunately. Oh, very interesting. So Chanika thinks that perhaps sometimes there is not enough feedback, and perhaps also part of the any successful negotiation is good feedback. So it's important to keep that in mind. If you don't know the other people's feelings, ideas, expectations, it's difficult to negotiate with them, right? So feedback is useful. I have mix. Some people say Southeast Asian, some people say both. Mostly, oh, I think it's like 50-50 maybe, Southeast Asian or both. Okay. Okay, very good. So silence can mean disagreement. Sometimes maybe in Southeast Asia, you don't say anything. I don't agree. But maybe also in Western cultures, I don't agree. Okay. I think there are some cultures where silence is just a way of allowing other people sharing their ideas. Okay, thank you so much. That was very interesting. Thank you for all your answers and your ideas. Um, I think it's something that is important to keep in mind from this. A key takeaway is if you negotiate with people from other countries, like they were saying it from India or maybe from China, try to understand where they are, what they think. That will make negotiation easier and perhaps better, more successful. Okay, so keep that in mind. Um, okay, let's go back. Uh, Here we have some few more minutes. Okay, so just remember that we negotiate with words, okay? So what we say, like they were mentioning, feedback is very important. Sometimes we don't have enough feedback. So uh, listening is important. Also saying respectfully what you think is important. Okay. You were telling me before about speaking or listening. Uh, so let's move on here. Okay. So let's try to work a little bit for these last few minutes about internal and external negotiation. Okay. So internal and external. Internal means inside a company, external outside the company with other companies. Okay. So internal negotiation, normally in your own company, in your own office, you need to negotiate simple things or difficult things, like how to write emails, okay? What time to arrive or leave office, maybe simple things, difficult things about contracts, money, maybe safety. So let's move here. Okay. So for internal negotiation, okay. mm, let's imagine a small scenario, brief one. We can do it simple way, okay. Uh, so imagine you are in this situation, okay. You are in this situation, working a team. You have your team, say maybe sales team or IT team, management team, purchases team, and your manager wants a report. Finish today, okay? But you have so many things, you need more time, okay? So, can you write in the chat very briefly, just maybe 2, 3 words for each step? How do you say you are worried? Okay, using the language we learn, how do you say, oh, my concern is, or I'm worried about this, politely in a nice way? And then also show empathy, right? Oh, well, the manager is worried. They need this job finished soon. Oh, and then what solution? What do you think you can do? Okay, so I'll give you maybe 30 seconds, 1 minute. Think about it a little bit. And on the chat, when you're ready, very simple message. Express your concern, show empathy, and propose a solution. Okay, you can write your answers there. So I'll give you some few seconds, 1 minute. Think about that. Please tell us on the chat. I'll wait for your answers. When you're ready, I'll start reading. If anyone's there ready, let me know. Okay, we're beginning to receive some answers. Okay, let me see. Let me see here. Mhm. Okay, very good. Let me just go here. So we have Prapapat says, give all data that have on time and tell them the conclusion needs a little bit more time. Okay, that could be one option. Miss Fatima says, I understand your concern. However, it would be nice if I could have more time to work on it. Oh, very good. That could be a very good way. Kanisi says, uh, thank you for the assignment. I understand the report is very important for the team progress. Since my capacity is quite full with the previous assigned task, can we discuss which task is the most important to complete first? Oh, very good way to restate. Okay, so you emphasize you are already working on many projects and try to find other choices, other solutions. Rina Paz says, I understand you need me to meet the deadline, but for more completeness, can I have more time? I will finish within tomorrow afternoon. Oh, that's very, very useful strategy. Very good. Maybe also negotiate with offering a new possibility. I cannot today, but for sure tomorrow afternoon. Okay, so today we already have all the tasks. So there are many ways to express these ideas in a very polite way. Uh, there is one other answer. Please, could you tell me your progress in 15 minutes? I need to review the report before close of business. Okay. Okay, very good. So you see, we can use this language. We could try to negotiate. Remember, negotiation is not about winning. Perhaps sometimes, anyway, your boss will tell you, yes, I'm sorry, but this is a priority. You need to finish today. But then you have already leverage. Remember that word, leverage for negotiations. Yeah, okay, if you need, I finish this today, but I have these other many tasks. Perhaps then I can finish these other tasks, not so important for today, tomorrow. So you see, you can always gain leverage, use leverage, and try to be mindful. It's not about winning, it's about the best outcome, the best result for everybody. Okay, thank you for your answers. Thank you for sharing. Okay, going back here. So let's finish a few more minutes about external negotiation. Okay, so this is with other companies. Okay, so it's a little bit more formal, right? When you inside your team, your company, sometimes you can be more relaxed, more informal. But with other companies, respect, politeness, clarity, very important. It's higher risk. If negotiations go bad, maybe you lose completely a deal or an opportunity. And remember, it's also about long term. So, not to win. Sometimes to win in the long term, you need to lose a little in the short term. That's very important to remember. So don't think I need to win every time and then destroy a relationship. Sometimes maybe you compromise. Remember that again, compromise a little. Don't win so much now, win more in the future. Okay. So we don't have enough time for the scenario, but I'm going to basically share with you the ideas. Okay. So maybe you can keep it as a reflection for your work every day. So when you're negotiating with another company, with another provider, external negotiation, okay, it's very important, I would say, to acknowledge, meaning you understand the partner's view, the other company's point of view. You need to state your position, like what do you think, very clearly. Okay, so these are our company's kind of terms, conditions. This is what we expect. Again, compromise at the end. Perhaps meet in the middle. They want something, you want something. How can we meet in the middle? Okay. So mostly remember that could be internal or external negotiation. Internal, sometimes more short term, less risk. External, long term, more risk. And remember that sometimes losing a little bit creates more winning in the long term. So keep all that in mind. And I think in order to give you some time for Q&A, perhaps some interesting questions you have, perhaps we can stop here. I hope you found that information, these ideas very useful, and maybe you can integrate them to your everyday work. I hope that you felt that these new words and these new phrases and these new reflections might improve your ability to negotiate. And then thank you for all your answers. I appreciate all your participation. They're great answers. They're never wrong answers. They're just points of views and opinions. So thanks for your points of view. They're very useful for our discussion. So I will move on to see if you have any other questions, short Q&A. Perhaps you need additional time for other things. So I'll maybe go back to you in order to do that.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Oscar, for such a clear and practical session. I truly believe that all participants here have gained some valuable insights from your talk. All right. And as I mentioned in the very first place, that we are going to have Q&A session for sure, so that some of you guys may have some inquiries that you would like to further discuss with our speaker today. But before we proceed to the Q&A session, I would like you guys to do the survey first. All right. In order that you could get certificates after this webinar that we are going to make for everyone here. All right, so actually for this page, you can scan the QR code here and just take a short time to do the survey or complete the survey. So we are thankful for your collaboration for this one so that we can further improve our sessions as well. It's not just only getting the certificate, but we would like to hear your thoughts so that we can develop or enhance our future webinars that we may have in the future. And yeah, of course, we will keep you guys posted on any upcoming webinars. All right, so for this session, please take your time for a moment. All right, so we will stay in this page for around 5 minutes for you guys to do the survey. And after this one, we are going to move on to Q&A session. Yeah, of course, like if you have any inquiries, Oscar is still here with us and he will be answering all the questions from you guys. And actually for Q&A session, we are going to try our best to accommodate this session to answer as many as questions that we could do, but unfortunately, we can not really answer every question from you all, but we are going to try our best to answer the questions. So please accept our apologies in advance in case that we cannot answer all the questions from everyone here. So the way that we are going to do Q&A session would be two ways. So actually, you can type your questions in the chat box, or you can turn on your microphone and speak up your inquiries. Okay, but before we turn on the microphone, so actually we are going to see first that like anyone would be interested in asking. So actually you can raise your hand if you would like to ask Dr. Oscar any questions. like raise your hand, and then we can see that, oh, okay, this person would like to ask, and then we can add the spotlight and turn on the microphone, and then you can start talking, and Oscar can hear your question, and then he will be answering all the questions. All right. So around few minutes left for doing the survey, and then we are going to move on to Q&A session.